Very good afternoon, dear students. I, Professor Sonal Agrawal, welcome you all on the digital platform of Agrawal Vidya Vihar English Medium College. This is the lecture for the subject Human Resource Management. The thought of the day is do it now, sometimes later become never. Generally, this is the habit of the human being to let the go things on the next day or on the next time. So sometimes if you ignore the things or if you're pending any things or any work to do, so sometimes it becomes never. So it is advisable to you to do it now or anything that you want to do. Clear? It is not about study, it is not about any particular thing. It is about anything that you want to do. So just do it now. The outline of the last lecture, that in the last lecture we have started with the human resource planning. We have discussed the definition of the human resource planning, that human resource planning involves the projection, or you can say the planning about the manpower demand, or the projection or the forecasting of the manpower supply, and an action to bring the supply and demand into a balance at a desirable level for the achievement of the organizational, or you can say the departmental objective. The demand, according to the demand of the manpower, the supply should be in appropriate manner, or you can say in adequate manner. It should not be more or it should not be less. Then we have started with the topic human resource planning procedure. That at the time of human resource planning, if you are the HR manager, then you have to follow certain process, or you can say the certain steps. We have started with the steps, that these 6 are the steps for the human resource planning. The first one is the clarification of objective. The second step after clarifying the objective, that estimating the future requirement of the human resource for the fulfillment of that objective. Then third one is that collect the information of the present human resources that working in your organization. After that, you have to determine about the job requirement, that which type of person you require, which is the quality of the person should acquire at the time of recruiting the persons for the fulfillment of objective. After that, you have to estimate the sources of supply of the human resource. Clear? From where you are able to get the human resource. And after doing all these steps, ultimately the final step is to take the action to recruit the person. Clear? Human resource plan for necessary action means after this all these steps, finally you have to recruit the right person at the right post, and again in a right number. We have started with the first step, that is the clarification of objective, that the objective must be well clarified and well defined. Because if the objective is well clarified and defined, then it provides the guidelines to make the personal decision. Your objective here means it may be the organizational objective, it may be the national objective. As I give you the example, that if the organization wants to increase the profit, or wants to minimize the labor cost, or it maybe wants to minimize the labor turnover rate, it maybe wants to increase the moral values amongst the employees. So it may be this is all are the organizational objectives. It may be the national objectives, like if you want to start any new project, or you want to launch any new product, or you want to recruit the person just to create the employment opportunity for the society. So it is the national objective. After deciding your objective, whether it is organizational, whether it is national, or whether it is departmental objectives, after doing this, you have to bifurcate your objective in the primary objective, that is the quantitative and the qualitative balance. Now, what do you mean by quantitative and qualitative balance? So, the quantitative balance means the number of employees as warranted by the total workload should be maintained in your organization, and the qualitative balance means that the sufficient number of employees with the required skills, experience, and training should be recruited. Clear? As we discussed in the definition, that the right person should be appointed at a right place. We cannot appoint any person at any post. Otherwise, the objective will not be fulfilled. And finally, we have to decide all other objectives which are directly or indirectly related with the primary objectives. After deciding the objective, what we have to do, we have to estimate our future requirement of the human resource. Clear? So, future requirement of the human resource is always in a mean for future, as we discussed that the planning is always for the future. After clarifying the objective, what the person or what the HR manager has to do, the HR manager has to estimate that the total human resource or the total human requirement during the particular specific period of time. The time period should be specific for the fulfillment of the objective. Suppose your objective is to increase the profit 10 percentage in next 5 years. So to fulfill this objective, what you have to do, you have to bifurcate this long-term objective into a short-term objective. Clear? And after bifurcating this objective, you have to start with the human resource planning. That how many numbers of the human resource, which qualities of the human resource, and you can say the which types of skills of the human resource you require in next year or in near future for the fulfillment of objective. So this is all this thing you have to do. Now the question arises, there are so many factors that may affect your human resource requirements. So before estimating the future requirement of the human resource, what you have to do, you have to do the detailed analysis of these factors. So these factors may include the employment rate, it may be the need for the filling of vacancies, it may be the development requirement of the organization, it may be productive related requirement of the organization. So these all things the HR manager, the person who is going to do the human resource planning, has to analyze. The first thing is the employment trends. That we all know that any organization follows certain types of trend. So as a human resource manager, what you have to do, you have to make a study of that employment trend, or you can say that employment figures of the past few years. Clear? The trend may indicate the rising trend, it may be continuous rising or it may be the continuous falling trend. Then what you have to assume that in present the present trend will be continue in the near future also, and on the basis of that trend you have to take the decisions. That suppose for example that this is the trend according to the past experience that every year the requirement of the human resource in your organization increase by 5%. Then it is the assumption that in near future also you require more 5% employees in your organization. So this is all about the employment rate. You have to also consider, or you have to also do the analysis of the need to fill the vacancies that arise in your organization every year or every certain period of time due to many reasons or at the different levels of your organization. It may be the top level, middle level, bottom level. The reasons may include the retirement, marriage of any female employee, death, voluntary retirement, resignations, transfer of the any employee in another branch, it may be the promotion, it may be the demotion. So many reasons are there to arise the vacancies in your organization. So what you have to do, if you want to do the human resource planning, so you have to consider these vacancies also in your mind. Here you have to consider the vacancies that may arise at the time of planning the human resource. And the next is the development, of course, the growth of the firm or the branches in the form of expansion or in the form of the diversification, etc. That also may be the reason to rise the new vacancies or to rise the demand of the human resource, and that new demand should be filled up. Therefore, while you are estimating the future requirement of the human resource, the growth rate should also be considered, should also be taken into mind. Why? Because suppose the department is going to, the organization is going to start any new department in the organization, then if you didn't consider this development objective, or the second example you can take, the if the organization wants to launch any new product or wants to produce any new product, for that development objective, the maybe the organization may wants to go for the diversification. So these types of objective require the human resource. So at the time of human resource planning, if you ignore these types of growth aspects, the ultimately your planning will not be successful. The planning will not succeed in the, you can say, the right result that you want from the planning. So the last point is the productivity. The productivity also affect, of course, the human resource requirement of any department. Increased productivity means the same production with the smaller number of workers in the organization. If suppose the organization wants to install any automatic machines or the equipments in the plants, and ultimately you can say that the requirement is going to reduce because of that type of machinery installed in your organization. But the productivity will increase how that to operate this machine you require only a single human person. So you have to consider this technology point of view and this productivity points also at the time of the human resource planning. Clear? You have to consider the two things. First thing is the productivity, and second thing is the technology that you are going to use in the near future. Okay? So these all are the factors that may affect your human resource requirement or your human resource planning. So before planning about the human resource, you have to do the detailed analysis of these factors. After doing analysis of this all the factors, you have to start the human resource planning. Here, you may say that the employment rate of the past year plus the need which arise due to the vacancies plus the growth rate plus the productivity, or you can say if the productivity is going to increase then minus the rate, or suppose if you want to install any new machinery then you have to deduct it requirement of the human resource. So employment rate plus need plus development minus the less requirement due to the technology, the answer of all will this will be the ultimately your human resource requirement. Then now today we are going to start with the topic that methods of estimating the human resource requirement. This is the continue of the second point only. As you see the steps, first step is clarification of the objective, and the second is step is estimating the future requirement of the human resource. In that second point, we have discussed about the factors that may affect your human resource requirement, and this is the continue portion of the second point, that methods of estimating the human resource requirement. Now the question arises that are you able to do the human resource requirement according to any particular methods? So these two methods are available. That is the workload analysis method and workforce analysis methods. What is mean by these two methods? How it is works? These all things we are going to discuss in the topic. So starting with the first topic, that is the workload analysis method. And workload analysis method, first of all, what you have to do, you have to decide the requirement of the human resource according to the workload. Clear that workload is decided by following certain steps. You have to follow certain steps. So which are they? So in this method, what you have to do, first of all the sales forecasting must be done. Here you have to do the forecasting activity about your sales, that if you are an organization, then what is the target of sales in the near future, or you can say of the particular period of time for which you are doing the planning. After doing the sales forecasting, what you have to do, on the basis of sales forecasting, the quantity of required production is to be determined. That suppose the target of the organization is to sell the next 1000 quantity of goods in the market, and you are having already 100 quantity of goods in your godown. So to meet the requirement of the sales forecasting, what you have to do, you have to produce more 900 products in your organization. After doing the forecasting the requirements of the production to meet the sales forecast, then what you have to do, on the basis of total production, after doing the requirement, what you have to do, you have to decide the main hour per unit of the production. Yeah, you have decided the sales target, you have find out the production requirement. Now you have to find out the man hours per unit of production, that you want to in this example, what you have to do, you have to produce 900 units of products. So what is the main hours to produce 1 unit of production or 1 unit of product? Clear? After deciding per hour, per unit man hours, after deciding this, what you have to do, you have to decide the total man hours that required. In this example, suppose to produce 1 unit, you require 1 hour. and we require to produce 900 units, so total man hours required are the 900 hours. After deciding the man hours, the next step is manpower required. Here, suppose a person is able to work for 9 hours in a day in your organization. Clear? We require 900 hours total. A person is able to work 9 hours in your organization and you want to do the production in a single day. At that time, you require at least 100 workers in your organization. How it is so? Again, I am repeating the full process. First thing, you have decided that you want to sell the 1,000 numbers of unit in from the organization. But 100 units you are already having in your go down. So what is the requirements? You have to produce 900 units in the production process. So 900 produce plus 100 in the go down, the total you are able to meet the demand, which is the demand of the sales. Clear? So you are able to sell the 1,000 units in the market. Now you have decided that to produce 1 unit of production, it requires 1 hour. So total hours are 1 unit in 1 hour into 900 units means total hour main hours are 900 hours. So the question arises that if you want to produce in single day, so how many workers you require? So suppose a single worker or the single manpower is able to work for 9 hours per day. So the 9 hours, 900 hours, the total requirement divided by 9 hours. So at least you require 100 workers in your organization to fulfill the objective. Now you have to check that present record of the worker that you require 100 workers, so 80 workers are already there in your organization. So now what you have to do, you have to recruit 20 more workers to fulfill your objective. So this is the methods of the workload analysis. First of all, you have to decide the workload, then distribute the workload between the number of person. According to the requirement of the workload, you have to recruit the manpower. I hope it is clear. Uh, After doing this all the procedure, the question arises that would be the human resource requirement estimated as per the above means the workload analysis method is adequate, or the method will able to fulfill the adequate means what? Will the method is useful to fulfill the objective? So of course the answer will be no. Why this is no? Because the rate of the labor turnover and the rate of the absenteeism is also affect the total requirement of the human resource in any organization. Here, in this method, the rate of the employee turnover and the rate of the absenteeism are not to be taken into the considered at the time of the doing human resource planning by the HR manager. So if the rate of the labor turnover and absenteeism is very high in your organization, or the number of employees that determined on the basis of workload analysis would not be sufficient to carry the workload. Why? Because as I already said that the labor turnover rate and absenteeism rate is very high in the organization. Therefore, with the help of the workload analysis, we may estimate the short-term requirement, but we are not able to meet the long-term requirement. Why? Because in these types of methods, or in this method of workload analysis, we ignore two aspects. First thing is about the absenteeism, and second thing about the labor turnover. I hope you know the meaning of labor turnover. What do you mean by labor turnover? So the labor turnover means the proportion of firm's workforce that leave your organization during a particular period of time. Clear? Suppose in a year or in a month or in a week or in a 5 years for which you are doing, or for which any time period for which you are finding the labor turnover. At the time of period, the proportion of the workers that leave your organization is known as the labor turnover. Clear? So I hope you are clear with this workload analysis method. The next is the workforce analysis method. Now what the workforce analysis method doing? Workforce analysis method is just removing the limitation of the workload analysis method. Now, what is the limitation of workload analysis method? The limitation of the workload analysis method is that in that method, the employee turnover rate is not taken into the consideration. Clear? If employee turnover rate is very high in the organization, then the planning which is based on the workload analysis method will not be successful. So the organization has to switch over to the workforce analysis method. Now the workforce analysis method is the method, or you can say the process, through which the organization review the staffing data and the trends to determine their current and the future hiring needs. Clear? Here it means the before doing the analysis about the requirement of the human resource, the organization or the HR manager also taken into the consideration the data or the trends. Train means here, train means what? Train means the train to leave the organization. Here, trains mean the employer turnover rate. Clear? The train of the past experience or the trains of the past data that the how many number of workers leave your organization during a particular period of time. So this trend is also taken into consideration to determine the requirement of the human resource for current time and for the future time period. Now the turnover ratio, as I discussed already, that in this point or in this analysis or in this method, that is the workforce analysis method, the turnover ratio is also taken into the consideration. Now the question arises that how to find out the turnover ratio. So on the basis of two things, the organization is able to find out the turnover ratio. The first thing is the new appointment, and the second thing is the numbers of employees that left your organization during a particular period of time. So starting with the first point, that is on the basis of new appointments. So what is the formula to find out the labor turnover on the basis of this method? That number of replacement during a replacement means here it's a new appointment. Here you can use the word new appointment also. The number of the new appointment during a particular period of time divided by the average number of workers in your organization during a particular period of time into 100, the answer will be your labor turnover rate. Now the question arises that how to find out the average number of employees during a particular period of time. So the formula will be the employee in the beginning of the year plus employee at the end of the year whole divided by 2. The answer will be the average number of employees during the particular period of time. So by applying this formula, you are able to find out the labor turnover ratio on the basis of new appointments. The second is that find out the labor turnover ratio on the basis of number of employees left. So what is the formula to find out the labor turnover ratio on this basis? So the formula is the number of the employees that leave your organization during a particular period of time divided by the average number of employees during a particular period of time into 100. Again, the average number of employees during a particular period of time. To find out this amount, or to find out this data, the formula will be same. That is the employee in the beginning of the year plus the employee in the end of the year whole divided by 2. Clear? So by applying this formula, the organization or the HR manager who is doing the planning will be able to find out the percentage of the labor turnover during a particular period of time. And by estimating the total requirement of the human resource, it is advisable to take these data also into the account. Clear? Because planners have to see the wage cost also. Clear? If ultimately the low number of employees are going to be recruited, that is also not profitable for any organization. If more number of employees is recruited, so again this is not also into the favorable position for any organization. So the what the person has to do is doing the planning about the human resource. The person has to forecast the requirement in an adequate manner, so it not be less or it not be more. But before doing this planning, yeah, suppose the person has decided that there is a need to appoint 20 more workers in the organization. But to appoint the 20 more workers, if you appoint 20 workers, then you have to pay the salary to them also. Clear? So before taking any action, what you have to do, you have to see the budgetary provision also. Clear? While you are doing this planning, so you have to take into the consideration the budgetary provision also, because planner has to see, you are the planner, you are the HR manager, so the you have to see that the wage cost should not be exceeds the budgetary provision. Suppose the maximum limit is given to you, the your planning should not be out of that maximum limit. So that point also you have to take into the accounts. So many factors are there that you have to consider at the time of planning the human resource. If the labor turnover is low, so it indicates that you are able to retain the employees in your organization. Means the stability of employees, that is you can say the requiring the smaller number of employees uh, required in your organization. Why? Because you are able to maintain the human resource in your organization. But again, if the labor turnover ratio is high, then the high ratio indicates that instability of the employees during the particular period of time in your organization. Means you as a HR manager are not able to maintain the employees. As we discussed about the human resource management in the introduction lecture, that it is the duty of the human resource manager to acquire the employee, after acquiring to train the employee, after training to motivate them, and after motivating to retain them. Clear? So if the labor turnover ratio is high, means you are not able to retain the employees in your organization. So you as a HR manager is not able to perform the duties in a good manner. It is not a good position for any organization. So this is the end of the second point, that is the we have started in today's lecture, that estimating future requirement of human resource. I hope it is clear to you all. What we did in the today's lecture, we have started with the human resource planning meaning. We have discussed the meaning of the human resource planning, that the planning involves the projection of manpower, the supply of the manpower, and bring the action of the balance between the supply and demand to at a desirable level to achieve the objective, which may be the organizational, departmental, or national. Then we have started with the brief revision of the human resource planning procedure that we have started in the last lecture, that you if as a HR manager you are doing the human resource planning, then you have to follow a certain steps. So these 6 steps are there that you have to follow as a human resource manager, as a planner, you can see. So what is the steps? First thing, clarify the objective in a well manner, so it will provide you the guideline to do the human resource planning. After clarifying the objective, what you have to do, you have to estimate the future requirement of the human resource. But while doing the future requirement, what you have to do, you have to do the detailed analysis of the factors that may affect the your human resource requirement. After doing analysis of the factors of that may affect the human resource requirement, what you have to do, you have to choose the method to do the estimation of the human resource requirement, and on the basis of that method you have to do the human resource planning. But with you have to keep in mind the budgetary aspects also. After deciding the requirement, what you have to do, you have to collect the data about the present human resource of working in your organization. Every organization is having the HRD department. Clear? From the department you may acquire the detailed information about the persons working in your organization. Then after collecting this information, what you have to do, you have to determine the job requirements, means the qualities of the person that you require to recruit at a particular job. Clear? Means right person at a right place in a right number. After determining the job requirements, what you have to do, you have to think about that from where you are able to get the human resource. After doing this all thing, you have to ultimately take the actions. Means to finally you have to recruit the person. You have to appoint the person at the right place. Then after that we have started with our point number one or step number one of the human resource procedure, that to clarify the objective here, or objective should be well clarified, that whether it is organizational objective, whether it is national objective, whether it is departmental objective. After deciding the objective, you have to decide the objective in the quantitative balance also and in the qualitative balance also. Quantitative balance means right number of persons as per the requirement, and qualitative balance means right quality of person as per the requirement of the objective. And ultimately you have to decide all other objectives also that are directly or indirectly related with your main objectives. After doing this, what you have to do, you have to estimate the future requirement of the human resource, and before estimating the requirement, you have to do the detailed analysis of factors that may affect your human resource requirement. That is the employment trade, need for filling the vacancies, development, and productivity. That employment trend means the past record of the organization. From the past record, you may able to find out the rising trend or the falling trend of the employment of your organization. On the basis of that trend, you have to suppose that in near future the trend is going to be continue, and on the basis of that trend you have to take the decisions. Then after, you have to also find out the need of filling the vacancies that arise in your organization at a different level of organization due to many reasons. Uh, After that, you have to take into the consideration the growth aspects that you are going to do in the near future in your organization via way of the diversification, via way of expansion of your department, via way of expansion of any product or the product line. Clear? This all thing you have to take into the consideration. After that, you have to focus on the aspect of productivity that is going to be increased in the near future or is going to be decreased in the near future due to the aspects of technology. Clear? These all things you have to consider before studying the estimation of the human resource requirement. After that, you have to choose the method to do the estimation of human resource requirement, whether you want to go for the workload method or whether you want to go for the workforce method. We have started with the workload method, that to decide the human resource requirement according to the workload, you have to follow certain steps. That step number one is about the sales forecasting is to be made in your organization. On the basis of sales forecasting, you have to do the find out the requirement of the production that you have to do to meet the sales requirement or the sales target. After that, you have to find out the main hours per unit of production that to produce a target production. And after that, you have to find out the total man hours that requires for the production of target production. After that, you have to find out the main power which require to produce the goods which we have targeted. After doing all these things, the question arises that whether this types of method is useful, whether this types of analysis is useful. The answer is of course not. Why? Because in this analysis, you as a HR manager ignores the point of absenteeism rate and ignores the point of labor turnover rate. Clear? Now, absenteeism, for the absenteeism rate, what you can do, you can improve the policy of your organization. You can mention any strict policy, you can adopt any strict policy to reduce the high level of absenteeism rate of your organization. And what about the labor turnover? So to remove this limitation, the new method is there, that is the workforce analysis method. In this method, the limitation that is there in the workload analysis method about ignorance of the labor turnover rate is removed. In this method, the HR manager is also going to consider the labor turnover rate. If the labor turnover rate of your organization is very high, so it indicates that it is a not good position for the organization. Why? Because the HR manager is not able to maintain the employees in the organization. And if it is low, then of course it shows the good position that you are able to sustain the employees in your organization. Why? Because ultimately the human resource are the main resource, you can say the key resource of the organization. We have discussed the meaning about the workforce analysis method, that the process through which the organization reviews the staffing data and the trends to determine the current requirements and the future requirements of hiring the human power is known as the workload analysis method. Then we have discussed about the turnover ratios, that to consider the turnover ratios in the workforce analysis method, how to find out that ratio. So you as a manager can find out the human resource turnover ratios on the basis of two methods. That one is the based on newly appointed, and the second one is based on the new number of employees that left the organization during the particular period of time. After that, we discussed about the formulas to find out the labor turnover ratio for both the methods. In the next lecture, we are going to start with the step number 3, that to be collect the information about the present human resource that are working in your organization. Till home, stay safe, start learning. Have a happy day. Thank you.